After getting to know the whole situation, Yuna was not the only one who was surprised. Even Yulan was astounded too. Had she known Dustin's identity, she would not have let Shenmurong drive him away so easily. After all, he had helped her daughter. It's fortunate that nothing serious happened. Had we thrown the pill away, Snow would have been in grave danger. Yulan shuddered to think of what could have happened. She considered herself lucky that she still had the pill with her, or the consequences would have been unimaginable. Snow is safe for the time being, but the coldness within her has yet to be completely eliminated. After checking on Snow, Shenmurong ordered, Yuna, go to the medical center and get Dustin here. But Uncle Chen, you don't really believe that the fellow can cure Snow, do you? Yuna's expression was one of disbelief. She had a preconceived notion that Dustin wasn't a trustworthy person. I'd just like to see what treatment plans he has to propose, Shenmurong clarified. Of course, he did not think that a youngster in his 20s would have any mind-blowing medical skills, but the fact was that the pill he gave them proved to have phenomenal effects, so he was curious as to where he got the pill from. Yuna, listen to your uncle. Snow's condition is of utmost importance. We should get him here to see what information he is able to provide us, Yulan urged. All right. Yuna nodded reluctantly. Over at Peaceful Medical Center, Dustin made himself a pot of tea when he got back. He poured a cup for himself, and another for Hunter. Hunter took his tea respectfully. Dustin and Hunter had known each other for years, but they had never had tea together before. Mr. Rhys, didn't you say that you need the vermilion fruit? Have you given up on it already? Hunter asked curiously when he saw how laid back Dustin was. Of course not. I'm just waiting for the right opportunity. Dustin sipped on his tea. The right opportunity? Hunter found it difficult to understand what Dustin was implying. According to what I observed yesterday, Snow will be experiencing another bout of attacks soon. And this time, it will be much worse than it had been before. No one in Swinton will be able to help her, he said calmly. So that's why you left them with the pill? So that they will come to you of their own accord? Hunter quickly understood. That's right. Actions speak louder than words. It's much more practical to prove myself with actions than to try and convince them with words. Dustin nodded. And what if, by any chance, Shenmurong did not take you seriously and threw the pill away? Hunter mused aloud. Then he would be sending his daughter to her grave with his own bare hands. Dustin shook his head. If he really acted so rashly, then he would have no one else but himself to blame. Just as they were conversing, a black Hummer pulled up at the entrance. Yuna strode in with her head held high. Come with me, Dustin, she commanded. Follow you? Where to? Dustin continued to sip on his tea leisurely. Don't play the fool with me. Of course, we're going to Green Cloud Villa. Yuna frowned. Whatever for? We're not welcome there. In fact, we were driven out just a while ago. I wouldn't want to go back there and bring trouble on myself. Dustin shook his head. You. Yuna gritted her teeth. How she wished she could beat him up then and there. That was a misunderstanding. We won't drive you out anymore. She suppressed her anger. Even if you won't drive us away, we're still not going. What do you take us for, making us come and go as you wish? Dustin took another sip of his tea. What exactly do you want? Yuna was so angry that she was itching to hit someone. Sure, I can go over, but under one condition. And what is that? It's simple. I want the vermilion fruit. The vermilion fruit? That is meant to be used on Snow. I cannot promise you that. Yuna glowered. If you won't agree to that, then we do not have a deal. Dustin continued calmly. I've said it once, and I'll say it again. The vermilion fruit will not cure Snow of her disease. If you can't make the call, then get me someone who can. Humph. Yuna huffed angrily as she whipped out her phone to give Shenmurong a call and brief him about Dustin's condition. A while later, she nodded and looked Dustin in the eye. Uncle Cheng has agreed to your condition. If you can cure Snow of her disease, then the vermilion fruit is yours. Yuna said coldly. Deal. Dustin smiled. He got into Yuna's car, and they made their way to Green Cloud Villa, leaving Hunter astonished and in awe. As expected of Mr. Rhys. He has every move under his control, Hunter thought to himself. When Dustin returned to Green Cloud Villa yet again, he noticed that a group of doctors had gathered around, and they were mostly people who were influential and of high status in Swinton's medical field. "You've finally returned, young man. Please come in." Yulon greeted him enthusiastically the moment he entered. It took him a moment to get over his discomfort. "You said you could cure my daughter of her disease. Do you mean it?" Shinmurong asked solemnly, as stern as ever. "Of course. Surely I would not have come if I did not have the confidence to cure her. I just hope that you will make good on your promise, Mr. Murong." Dustin smiled lightly. "Of course I will. But you'd best deliver your end of the promise," Shinmurong answered frostily. "We'll see in a bit." Dustin did not bother to explain much more. He quickly went forward to the emerald bed to check Snow's pulse. Just as he predicted, she suffered from the rare disease of polar frost. It was an unusual condition that only came around once in a century. People who suffered from such conditions had the potential to achieve great heights if they practiced a special form of martial arts, as it would greatly enhance their powers. However, the problem was that people who suffered from the condition usually had very short lifespans. The polar frost within them was like a great vortex that continually absorbed the coldness of the universe, so much so that the body was unable to take it. New-born babies would usually die prematurely before they hit the age of 1. Fortunately for them, the Murongs were filthy rich, so Snow had made it to this day from all the medication and herbs that she consumed. However, the coldness that she had been absorbing all these years had reached a tipping point, and all the medications which had served to suppress it before were no longer effective. "How is it? Can you cure her?" Shinmurong asked skeptically. "It's a bit tricky, but I can do it." Dustin nodded. "All right then, I'll let you have a go. But bear in mind, if anything happens to my daughter, I'll see that you pay for it severely," Shinmurong threatened. "Don't worry, I know what I'm doing." Just as Dustin took out a needle and was about to apply it, a roar sounded at the door. "Hold it! Stop whatever you're doing!" the voice bellowed. Hong Xiao strode in imposingly and shouted, "Uncle Qing, we do not know this man. We cannot let him put Snow's life at risk. I understand that you're worried for Snow, Xiao. But we do not have any better alternatives now. He is our only hope." Qing shook his head. "Who says we have not got any better alternatives? See who I brought." Xiao gestured dramatically and directed everyone's attention to the entrance. In came a podgy old man dressed in a loose green robe. He made his way in confidently. "Dr. Shane?" There was an instant uproar when everyone caught sight of him. The doctors seemed to have transformed into eager fanboys who met their idols. Their level of excitement was off the charts. This was, after all, the world-renowned miracle healer, Dr. Malcolm Shane. His expertise in acupuncture was one of a kind, and all these experts and professors were considered nothing compared to him. "Dr. Shane?" Qing and the rest of them were initially astounded, but then it quickly turned into elation. They were expecting him to arrive by nightfall, so it was a pleasant surprise that he managed to get there so soon. "Didn't you say you were delayed, Dr. Shane?" Yulon asked inquisitively. "And Yulon, I heard that Dr. Shane was held up by traffic and couldn't make it here soon, so I flew a chopper over and picked him up from where he was. Fortunately, we're still in time," Xiao explained. "That's brilliant! How smart of you to think of that, Xiao. I'm proud of you." Qing smiled. No doubt Dr. Shane's presence calmed his nerves. "Thank you, Uncle Cheng. Only doing what I should." Xiao nodded modestly. "Dr. Shane, we have no time to lose. Please save my daughter." Qing cut to the chase and brought him to the emerald bed on which Snow laid. "Mr. Morong, didn't you agree to let me cure her? What is the meaning of this?" Dustin was not happy with the turn of events. "Young man, I appreciate your good intentions. However, since we have Dr. Shane here, I will not put my daughter at risk. You may take your leave now," Qing said. "Mr. Morong, this isn't right. You were the one who requested my help to cure your daughter, and now you're backing out on your promise? This really isn't right." Dustin's eyes narrowed. "What do you mean it isn't right? Do you really think that someone like you can compare to Dr. Shane?" Xiao asked with disdain. "Young man, I have the freedom to get whomever I please to cure my daughter. And as compared to you, I'd much rather trust Dr. Shane here with the task." Qing sobbed frankly. Had he not been at his wits' end, he would never have asked this rascal for help. "It's all right that you got someone else to cure your daughter, Mr. Morong, But the vermilion fruit that you promised me, Qing cut him off mid-sentence. You didn't do anything, why should you have the vermilion fruit? Do you think you deserve it, so you're going back on your words? Dustin frowned. Dustin was not a short-tempered person, but ungrateful people like Qing never failed to get on his nerves. Young man, cut the nonsense. Isn't it just the money you're after? Guards, bring him $2 million. On Cheng's orders, his guards soon came back with 2 cases of cash. Here, take this as your payment for helping Snow. From now on, we're square. Don't you hear that? Take the money and leave. Now! Xiao roared. Ha ha! Dustin suddenly broke out in laughter. But his eyes were cold and icy. What a good strategy you have there, Mr. Murong. How unfortunate for you, though, you're being overly optimistic. Do you really think that Malcolm Shane can cure your daughter? A commotion broke out the moment he said that. You rascal! Have you any idea what you've just said? This is Dr. Shane we're talking about. There have not been conditions that he has been unable to cure thus far. That's right. What an insolent young man! If Dr. Shane can't cure her, do you think that you can? Where did this scoundrel come from? What cheek he has to doubt Dr. Shane! The doctors gathered around to reprimand Dustin. Young man, may I know from whom you learned your skills? How dare you brag in front of everyone? Malcolm gave him a once-over, obviously displeased. In all the years he practiced his medical skills, he had never once been doubted. Much less by a rascal who was still wet behind the ears. Ha! You overestimate yourself! How dare you put on airs in front of Dr. Shane? You're really asking for it, Xiao said in a hostile manner. Young man, I do not know where you got the confidence to doubt Dr. Shane, but I would like you to please leave now. Do not disrupt him from saving my daughter! Qing spoke sternly with an annoyed expression. How dare this fellow try to take advantage of his benevolence? There's no need to drive him out. Let him stay and watch. Since he doubts my skills, I'll show him what I'm capable of. Malcolm stood with his hands behind his back, as expected of Dr. Shane. He carries himself with such dignity and confidence. The doctors flattered him excessively. As Malcolm has spoken, Qing did not go against his wishes and allowed Dustin's presence. I'm so sorry to have made you come here for nothing, buddy. If Snow ends up fine, I'll try to talk to Qing about the vermilion fruit and see if you can have it. Yulan brought Dustin to one side and apologized sincerely. This was the man who had saved her daughter. Yulan knew that she owed it to him, and would like to repay him if she could. I'd appreciate that, Mrs. Murong. Dustin's expression eased up. There was finally someone who spoke sense in the family. Dr. Shane, let's not wait any longer. Please proceed. Cheng waved him over. Malcolm nodded and sat down beside Snow's bed, checking her pulse. A short while later, he announced confidently. If I'm not mistaken, the patient is weak and has poor circulation due to the coldness within her, and now, the toxins within her body have accumulated. Once the coldness and toxins in her body are expelled, she will be just fine, and I presume you have the means to do that, Dr. Shane? Qing asked expectantly. Though it's a little tricky, it's no big deal for me. I shall perform an acupuncture therapy to expel the coldness and toxins from her body. Malcolm smiled lightly. He then took out several needles and swiftly inserted them into Snow's skin on her nape, her navel, below her knees, on the base of her feet, and on her back. His movements were so swift and executed with such ease and skill that his audience was left in awe. By the time his needles were all in place, wisps of cold air slowly came out of Snow's limbs. And for the last one, Malcolm produced a needle that was thicker and longer than the rest and inserted it straight on top of Snow's head. Soon, a great deal of mist emerged from all over Snow's skin. For a brief moment, everyone in the room was surrounded by an eerie chill. All right, the coldness is now expelled. It won't be long now before the patient comes around, Malcolm declared confidently. No wonder you're a world-renowned miracle healer. Your acupuncture therapy is just plain magical, Cheng exclaimed excitedly. His gloom and anxiety from earlier on were swept away in an instant. That's right. With Dr. Shane around, any disease or condition can be easily handled. Xiao was all smiles. Hey you! Do you admit defeat? Yuna raised her chin at Dustin in a provoking manner. How dare he doubt Dr. Shane? He doesn't know where he stands, Yuna thought to herself. Dustin shook his head as he looked at her with contempt. Snow suffered from polar frost. That was a rare condition that only came around approximately once in a century. How could it possibly be so easily cured? He thought to himself. While everyone was overjoyed, Yulan noticed something amiss. Hey, hasn't the coldness been expelled? But why does Snow look even paler than before?
And just can't accept it. This can't be the end yet. You promised to never leave, and now you're gone. Can't believe I can feel the world slipping away as you slowly fade from my everyday. You promised forever a love without end, but now I'm left broken, struggling to mend. I thought we were so tight, destined for a lifetime, love with no end, love with no end. Staying in my imagination, memorizing the past time, the secrets, the love, the care, now they're echoes in the air. I still see your face in every place, feel your warmth, your gentle grace, but now there's just an empty space, and I'm lost in this endless chase. Keeping you in my heart, a piece of you I'll never